that
Do you remember the first punishment that you guys filmed when you go back? Like, what was those like when you first?
It was one of two. I either had to sing a cappella at a baseball game on the field.
That's a ballsy.
That's a great one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even singing a cappella. It was they just told me the name of a song and I had to riff it.
Make a song. Oh,
yeah. And then one was I definitely had to at the dog park pick up some dog. Like when a dog was shitting, I pick it up with my hand
without.
Yeah, that was one of those. Was the first one.
And they knew early on that because they're friends of yours forever that your phobia.
Yeah,
galore.
It's funny because I was so early that I used a plastic glove, but I was still about to vomit. Like
do you have a lot of phobias?
The heat transference on the ship.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel that. Yeah.
Now they would never let me. They would never let me put that on. But it was like the first episode, and so I put it on. But I have a germ thing, like not like a.
Do you have a cat thing also?
Yeah, sure. So germs and cats and stuff like that. Yeah, but who doesn't have a germ thing? It's like a filth germ thing. Right. I just get. I get sick easily, like I get a cold easily, and it takes me a long time to shake it. So I just keep my.
I know that in the years that Jokers has been on the air, there's only been one or two where the punishments couldn't be done or couldn't air, right? But most of the time, none of you are allowed to say no. Like whatever, no matter how insane it is, you have to do it. And then also, there's times when you don't realize that you're being punished until it's done.
There was a few of those,
right?
Yeah.
So the question I want to ask you is, have you ever been in a situation where you think, oh, this is for the show, like I'm being punished, and then you weren't? Like it was like, you know what I mean? Like you're at a jury or something where you thought for sure this is, and then you found that it wasn't.
Probably not, but they did get me a few times in my like, regular life that I think they started pulling that.
Right, there was the thing with the statue, right? That one got you.
That one, we were filming, and they told me to touch this statue. And then I guess they had this idea after the fact. They sent me a letter from like Department of Homeland Security because it was like I shouldn't have touched the statue or something. Yeah. And they said I defaced it, and so I had to make an appearance.
Oh, wow.
And then they said I was getting fined. And this was all on my own time.
Yeah.
For months.
They set up a whole... There was actors, and they set up like I got letters, like and then I had to show up at the courthouse. They got the courthouse in downtown,
right.
And they had me in a room because they know I know what it looks like. I know where cameras go.
Right.
They had me in a room. They somehow got cameras, pinhole cameras inside water bottles.
Wow.
And they taped me. I had to do a deposition and everything.
Yeah.
And then one day they walked up to me and served me and then I they said I was getting I had to pay fines and all that stuff. And it was like a year and a half.
That's wild. The amount of effort that had to go into that. Because if at any time you figured out, do they bail on that? Like, let's say you realized
it's risky because you put a lot of resources and money and time into it. And if it's a risky one.
Like that show that aired was it last year or the year before, Jury Duty? Which
that was amazing.
Loved that show. Yeah. But at any moment, if he would have figured out, they would have had to bail on a whole season.
He was the third.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Windy City Heat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That dude, they've been that dude for 20 years, man.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Don, how do you explain it for the audience? Because most people don't know who it is.
I guess it's a movie. I guess they were doing. I guess they told him they were doing a documentary.
Yeah.
And everybody was in on it except for this guy, charming, eccentric fellow. Might have been a little slow on the uptake.
A little, yeah, that's kind.
And they just played him like a fiddle for a while.
But they had these guys in Hollywood.
No, it was
the movie was one, but they did a podcast. They did a couple hundred episodes.
I didn't know.
With that guy forever.
Oh, I did not know that.
So Don ran that show in Los Angeles. But the guy was one of these sort of kind of delusional people that end up in Hollywood. There's a lot of them out there, but he was extreme. And so he thought he was a good actor. And they would tell him that he's good, he's got the stuff. And then they set up this whole film that was just based on pranking in a serial manner. Yeah. But it was that narrative that was wild.
And at one point, though, doesn't it become like the show? The thing I like about Impractical Jokers is that it doesn't seem like it's ever mean. It's mean to you guys.
It's mostly inward.
Which is what I think makes it work for so many years. Like, after a while, you don't want to see an average person getting embarrassed and shamed.
No, yeah.
It doesn't loses its funny to me. But it's when you guys are doing and willingly doing it to each other, makes it far more sustainable. I feel
that was the tweak we kind of made to it.
Yeah, it's on you. It's not. It's a hidden camera show, but they're not really. Although I'm sure nowadays it's harder to film because it is so many years.
Yeah, it's harder. Yeah.
That you you took me on set once, right? And I remember it was a wild thing because I guess I know Joe's not on the show anymore, but he I guess has this like savant-esque view of people because they're doing a segment and he goes, there was a guy in the background. He goes, I recognize that guy, and then you pulled up. He was pulling up old videos from older shows, and he found him as someone that you did have on the show.
Oh, we have to keep a log of anyone who's ever come on because a lot of these people, when we do like focus groups, these are people that go to these things.
Yeah,
and they do these things. Like they'll frequent these things. So you don't know, but we keep this log. But then like it could be a 6 months or 6 years later, and someone just so happens
to go do it again.
Applies again, and sometimes a lot of the people that we bring in, they get released because once we have what we need, we release those people and we never tell them what it was, so we could use them again. It's like throwing fish back into the pond.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll do it, but then 6 years later, not even know it. But we got to be careful because there was like 2, maybe 3 times in the instances. So 300 episodes of someone being in there, and then people online be like, "What's that about?"
See, now it's fixed, it's planned, it's set up. Because you guys, at least I can tell from my one time being there, that you take that super seriously.
Yeah.
You do not want it ever to be where anyone knows anything.
No. And if someone knows the show, we don't use them. Like it's we're real strict with that. But it's so funny because there still will always be a contingent of people online that like I don't know how they think it's fake because it's just so not fake, but they say, "Oh, it's fake." You could tell or something. I don't know.
What's it like growing up in the context of all of that, all this mayhem? And you had just had a kid, right?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's wild to be.
Because changed for me, and Mike is only 6. We both got started a little late.
Yeah.
But what is that like? Was it split focus or is that?
Well, so my daughter is only 2 years and 7 months.
Right.
I started this journey on this show in 2011.
Right.
So I'm lucky to be in a place where I am with the show now, where we do really run the ship.
Gotcha.
And it makes it a little easier, just as far as just the workload in and of itself. But what's harder is the road.
Yeah, man.
The kids.
Yeah, sure. I know
and it's just and so this very well. But it's like I'm a hands-on dad, and I'll fight for every second I have with them. So
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
so
too.
it's like non-negotiable with them, and then it's made it harder because any spare minute I have and then some is all them now. And so that crams everything else I have to do into a smaller window. And that gets a little stressful because things start to back up on me, but I will not
I live in 2 places. I got a place on the Lower East Side and a place in Jersey. I'm staying with my kids Sunday, Monday, Tuesday religiously.
Yeah.
Just spend,
You can't wait to look forward to it.
Can't wait.
I know.
Is that why you also like kind of change?
Ralph knows nothing about that level. That level of emotionality, of that psychological connection. He's out
care.
banging the 14th broad. This
Oh, no, I thought you were going to say 14-year-olds, and I was all in. Yeah.
See, I have a cough button for a reason, right?
For a
Sorry.
reason, yeah.
I'm not a radio fellow.
Because I noticed over the years, maybe it's just because of the...
You should have a child.
Just in general?
No, you should have a child.
I have Shannon. It's close
I'm
enough.
telling you, man.
Ralph's never been in a. Ralph hasn't been in a relationship in 20 years.
Yeah, not a serious one.
You're
no.
A serious one.
I know. I know, and that works for you, and that's great.
fine.
You're happy. You're happy.
Do you have a profile on that? As an FBI profiler, as a man of psychological depth, do you have a profile on that?
On what?
On somebody that's been able to successfully avoid relationships and doesn't seem to be negatively impacted by it.
I think he's like a unicorn, really, probably, because usually,
Because I'm magical?
No, because
in terms of purity or just the horn.
I think that people in your position are split into maybe 2 buckets, and that might be oversimplifying.
Psychopaths?
No, people that are single but like don't want that, and then people that are and want it. But sometimes people that are and want it, they want it for reasons that you just seem well adjusted and happy to be where you are, which I don't think I see that much of. Someone who's happy just being like dating and being single and have nothing tying you down and running business and being very happy and everything. Like I don't know if there's many people
in general too, and because I don't meet many people that have been married for a long time that seem particularly happy either. But I agree with you about your assessment of Ralph.
Yeah.
Also, I have very close family relationships, very close friendships. Like people that I talk to every day.
Ted Kaczynski for a while.
You're welcome. You're welcome.